Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Just wanted to send out a video a little earlier than I normally would. I used to send them out on Sundays, but after 1 week I took a few days off and wanted to get some things done before I showed you, so it's kind of been Tuesdays now, but it's Sunday afternoon. And I've been working today on lifting the house. So I kind of wanted to do a little before and after. So what I did this morning was, let me show you. So I removed the closet here because our new footing and post are right down here. And I got a laser out right up here and mounted that plumb and level so that shoots out across the room in three different directions. And I plotted the ceiling and the floor at all perimeter spots, and then a few specific spots here in the middle of the floor. One where the light fixture is, around the closet, where this break is up here, which I have yet to deal with, up on this joist. And it looks like it drops about 2.5 inches from the perimeter of the house, which to this center point right down here. So I have spent last couple of days working mostly in this kitchen and mudroom area. So I finished the kitchen wall here and created a little soffit up top for my plumbing to come across and down, and decided that this sort of half wall would work. So it still keeps it really open. I'll put a little railing and a new newel post right here that matches the other side. And I've got just the right amount here for a 24-inch cabinet, a sink base, and a dishwasher. So I think it was a good compromise, and I feel really good about the openness that this creates. So, and then I tried to level the kitchen ceiling up here, and you can see I jacked up all these 2x4s and got some Simpson hardware on there again to flush the ceiling out. And then I took this side and jacked up the middle of all these 2x here to again try to level it. And then I added some 2x up top connected to the rafters. I ended up having to cut a bunch of lumber that's across here in this little storage attic space because it just wasn't moving up with all that stuff in the way, and got it pretty close, but just not to my standards. So I then got my laser out, my trusty laser, and decided to make the whole ceiling perfectly level. So that means I had to sort of transcribe the levels of each individual ceiling joist, and then I made incremental rips in 2x material, as you can see here, that vary anywhere from 3/4 of an inch up to 1.75 inches. And I've made this whole space now completely level. When I framed this over here, I thought for some reason I was going to be able to move this up, but I could have maybe in the very beginning, but I can't now, not with all the framing and things that I put in. It would just wreak havoc on all of that. So this whole space now is completely level. For example, I have pieces that go from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch to stay 1/2 inch up to 13/16. So it was really tedious to rip all of those, but I just had to do it. And now this whole space is completely level, which is good. And I ended up cutting back that 1x and cleaning up this area here, getting backing in and sort of making it sheetrock ready. And then I tackled the stairs. So you see these rips of OSB in here. I wanted to fortify the stairs. So let me just show you what I did. I ended up decreasing the headroom here a little bit because I added these 2x4s. And I just added these little stringers here in just little pieces to solidify the stairs. And then I screwed all of the risers to the treads and tightened all that up. They were a little loose and they sort of clapped, when you were walking on them. And this whole span from over here to here was literally just hanging in the wind. I mean, it was not connected to the old wall at all. So now it is connected to the wall. It's very solid. I nailed all the treads on the from the other side, and now I have really pretty quiet and really strong stairs. So I feel really good about that. But anyway, back to why I was actually making this, and that is, again, sort of showing you, I plotted here the whole room here, both the ceiling and the floor level to see where we end up. So let me go downstairs and show you what I have going on here. So I only have this one footing here to sort of work with. I mean, I would have, maybe put a jack over here and a jack over here. I didn't think one jack was enough. These are only 6-ton jack, bottle jacks. But anyway, so I have this one footing. So I'm just on either side of the footing. You can see this thing is about to just fall out anyway. I haven't jacked anything up, but I've prepped it. So I've got my 4x4 right up here, and I'll be putting in a 4x4 right in and connecting it to that Simpson that's buried in the concrete. And I've got my jacks ready to go, and I've loosened all the plumbing pipes, so we'll see what happens. So I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done. Okay, so I've jacked up the house about 1 inch. And what I was realizing is that, I knew this span was a little larger over here, but this was the low spot. So that's why this is where I put the footing. But this is sagging a little bit over here. So I removed that jack. I've put it over here. I don't believe that's sitting on any footing. I don't believe that the old post, which literally just fell over the minute I started moving the house up or moving this up, was not connected in any way, shape, or form. And you can see this is not a beam. It's actually 2x12, old school 2x12. So it's nominal, which means that it's very close to 2 inches by 12 inches. And then it just has these cleats here to hold up the joists, which are also nailed, then with these spacers that are in here. So I've moved it up 1 inch. It already feels really cool upstairs because this was like a little sort of swimming pool of low spots here. And so I'm going to continue jacking this up. I'd like to get it up another inch, but we'll see. I don't know. This might disrupt some of my stair stringer here a little bit. I might actually loosen that and see what happens. So I'll get back to you shortly. Okay, so this is a really old house, 107 years old, and this wood of these center joists here obviously have been settling for that long, slowly. There were some shims put in that post that I took out, but anyway, it's requiring a little more jacking. So I've gone up to 1.5 inches here at the center point here. I jacked this up just maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, shored it. Looks a little bit janky right now because that's as close as that I could get the post to the jack that was sitting there. I've now moved the jack over here. Now this is right underneath the stair wall here. And this is absolutely going to cause issues over here. I guess I was kind of dumb thinking that in the relative center of these beams, these joists, that it would bend consistently up, but it is not. And you can see here, I've taken out that top tread of the stair, of the new stairs, and I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but there's still a little bit of a sag right underneath this wall. Now this wall is only holding up the stairs. It's not really holding up anything, that continues up to the roof line. And it is doubled up here with these joists. So it's relatively strong, but if you can see this angle right here, I don't know if you can tell, but how the floor really swoops down from over here to this point here at the stairs, back over there where the half bathroom is, down to here. It's got a little valley like right through here. So, and these stairs were also a little bit tricky, as I explained before, because it was almost a 1-inch drop just from one side of the door to the other. So that presents some other issues. If for some reason I was to put a post right here, that would completely block in the hot water heater, and I think that would be a bad idea. Initially, I think that's a bad idea. I can move the hot water heater, but I mean, that presents issues with venting it and obviously replumbing the whole thing, which I'm not opposed to doing. But I'm thinking that potentially I could put a post here, actually away from the center, and get some nice Simpson hardware right up in here and support the stairs. Since it's just the stairs, I think I could potentially put something in. I could also put a post there that is just put together with structural screws so that I could remove the hot water heater or anybody else at some point. So anyway, I've got to think through that and see what I'm going to do, but I'm going to continue jacking this up and we'll see where we end up here in a little bit. All right. Okay. We're looking pretty good here. So I think I'm sort of done for right now. I'm definitely going to have to add a post somewhere in this area. And if I could be creative, something right here and still get the hot water heater out, or deal with the hot water heater in some way if necessary, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll probably put a post here and, do some DT22, which is a Simpson attachment, maybe to the other side to fortify that. I've gotten up 1 3/4 inches in this area here, and you can see here. So that bubble is pretty darn close. It's not perfect, but considering there was a 2-inch drop in that span, it's pretty flippin' good. So I think I'm going to call it. This side of the beam over here is pretty much dead level. So even though from the front door it drops just a skosh, but oh man, it feels so much better up there. Just walking around up here is going to be so much better. And right here, where I had a 1-inch drop from here to here, it was more like sort of 15/16. It's down to about 1/4 inch. So I think that also is great. So I'm pretty much done jacking. I've got to obviously put the closet back together and put in a couple of temporary posts and put my new post in down there and probably call it a day because I'm going to go for a bike ride. a stationary bike, because it's cold and rainy today. So anyway, I hope everyone had a couple of good days, and I'll be back in touch with you. Okay, take care.